In this video, we are going to make a classic Tiki cocktail, the Mai Tai. Welcome to Thirsty Thursday. I'm Mark, and this is the Average Me channel. Today, we are going to make a classic cocktail, the Mai Tai. The Mai Tai was developed sometime in the 1940s or 1950s by Victor Bergeron. Victor Bergeron is better known as Trader Vic, and he created this cocktail, and supposedly the name came from some Tahitian friends that drank the cocktail, and I don't know, I've never been to Tahiti, I don't speak Tahitian, but apparently Mai Tai, or at least Vic interpreted Mai Tai as meaning the best. So the cocktail we're going to make today is the best. And we are going to follow Trader Vic's original recipe with one exception. I'm going to be using two different types of rum. From the recipe I found, Vic only used the dark rum, and you'll see why I want to use a little lighter rum in this. So what are we going to do? We're starting with a light rum. If you want to stick to Vic's more original recipe, just use 2 shots of the dark rum rather than breaking it up one of each. So I'm going to use a light rum or a silver rum, and I'm going to use a dark rum. This is my plantation rum. We've been going through this bottle in the last few videos. Then we're going to use some orange Curaçao, orgeat syrup, and simple syrup. This is my own simple syrup. They recommend a 1-to-1 mix, and that is how I made this batch. Sometimes I make my simple syrup a little on the weaker side with 1 part sugar and 2 parts water. That way I think I can control it a little better. But this is a 50-50 water to sugar mix. In addition to that, we need fresh lime juice. So we're going to be squeezing that on our own. And something special, something we're starting today, and that is using our Tiki coasters. And this is going out to some of my Patreon sponsors. The very first one is going out to Lisa B, Rideshare Lisa, and these are handmade. Every one of these, it's a cork coaster, and they're hand-drawn by me. So take a good look. And Lisa, after this episode is over, I'll be popping this in the mail, and this is going to be your surprise for being one of my Patreon sponsors. So we'll set that aside. By the way, these have been tested. I've made some of these, and I've been using them, and they don't run. They work really, really well. So we are going to start with a little bit of ice in my Boston shaker. And you know, you've heard me say that ice is a really important part of cocktails. So not only do they make the drink cold, but what they do is they mix and they dilute a little bit. And it's really important that you put ice in the drink. If the recipe calls for ice, make sure that you use ice. So we're going to start with 3/4 of an ounce of fresh lime juice. I know I get comments on my juicer here, so we will put in the 3/4 of an ounce. I'm going to kind of be estimating because I'm just going to do 3/4 of a shot. So every time it calls for an ounce, I'm doing a shot. And if it calls for a 1/2 ounce, I use a 1/2 a shot. Calls for 3/4 of an ounce, like this lime, well, I use 3/4 of a shot. So that's how we're going to do it. And we're almost there with just that 1/2 of the lime. There we go. So we got 3/4 of an ounce of lime juice. Then we're going to use 1/2 ounce of the orange Curaçao. So that's easy. I just use a half side of my jigger. There we go. And we're going to use 1/4 ounce each of both of the syrups, the orgeat and the simple syrup. So we're going to use half of that. And a half of this. I've heard it say that you start with the non-alcohol ingredients first. That way if you make a mistake, you're not making a mistake with the expensive alcohol. So next we do rum. Now as I said, Vic's original recipe, Trader Vic's recipe, says 2 ounces of dark rum, but we are going to split that up into 1 ounce of the light. A lot of it has to do with taste. A lot of it has to do with the way the drink looks, because what I'm going to do is add a floater of the dark rum when I'm done, and I want to make sure that you can differentiate that floater. So I want the drink to be just a little lighter in color. So I'm going to use 1 ounce of this, or a shot. And I'm not going to cork this yet because I'm going to use it in just a little bit. But if you want to be true to the recipe, just use the dark rum. And let's face it, you can make drinks however you want, because a drink is supposed to be made to enjoy. So you want to do it to your taste and your flavor. If you change it too much, it's not a Mai Tai anymore. How long do you shake it? I shake it till my hands are so cold, I can't hold on anymore. And we're almost there. Whew, that is cold. And it doesn't hurt to put some extra ice in it if it doesn't fill the glass to the top. Like I said, ice is an important part of a cocktail. And now we're going to add that floater. I'm not a bartender. I have heard all kinds of ways to add a floater, that you can pour it over the back of a spoon so it doesn't go straight down. You can pour it into a shot glass, or you can just pour it straight from the bottle. I don't know. I guess it depends on your bartending skills. Regardless, it doesn't take a lot. It's just to color around the edge. Doesn't that look good? And then what we're going to do is we're going to add a slice of lime. Now you can also garnish this with some mint. And I could run out to my lanai and get some mint if I wanted to right now. But I think this looks just Jim dandy. I'm going to add one of my decorative umbrellas. I'm going to stick that right into that lime so it doesn't fall into the drink. And there you go. Direct from Trader Vic, the Mai Tai. And you know, when you think about this, there's no juices in here. Well, there's a lime juice. There's 3/4 ounce of lime juice. But other than that, it's just a lot of rum, which is why you want to let the ice do its work. You want to let the syrups do their work. Now that is a good drink. If you take your time, you're going to get a Mai Tai that's as good as anything in your best tiki bar. This is really good. And I'm not going to set it on Lisa's coaster because I'm going to be popping this in the mail as soon as I'm done with my Mai Tai. I got another one over here. We'll have to wait for next week for this one. Everyone's hand-drawn. Everyone is different. Who's getting it next week? I don't know yet. We'll find out. So I want to thank you for joining me, everyone. As always, I encourage you to like and share the videos. Leave your comments down below. If you haven't already, please click my face in the corner to subscribe. And don't forget to ring that bell icon up above. That way you'll know when I post new videos. I hope I see you back here for another Thirsty Thursday. And some of my other videos on Saturdays, I usually do a weekend warrior where I'm repairing or fixing things. Throughout the week on Mondays or Tuesdays, you'll see Florida living, and we just have a great time. So enjoy your Mai Tai, and I'll see you back here next time. That is a good drink.